What is in the bag of a 13 handicap? All of these bad boys got off Facebook Marketplace. So let's run through them. Fine, I'll get fit for clubs. Today, I'll be answering the question, is it worth getting a club fitting if you're an average golfer? We'll find out what a day of club fitting looks like, what you can expect, and what you can get out of a club fitting. 9by9 Golf invited us down for the day to answer all of these questions. So let's go meet our new best friend, Mark. Hello, Mark. How are you, mate? You good?
Yeah, come on in.
Good to see you.
Hi guys, I'm Mark at 9by9 Golf. I'm the lead fitter here, so do all of the custom fittings here in the studio. At 9by9 Golf, we specialise in premium aftermarket custom fitting. We have an in-house workshop that is upstairs where we build everything in-house as well to exact specifications.
Thank you. Sorry, I've loaded extra clubs in there because I was going to show what I used to have. Because I've been chopping and changing recently. Now the first thing to expect is the club fitter to learn more about you and what you use. You can expect questions like how often do you play, what's your handicap, what clubs do you use, what's your favourite club to use in the bag. Now I don't actually show it too much in the video, so I'm going to show it now, but I've got a mismatch of clubs that we talk about throughout the video. So starting things off, I've got my driver, and it's the main talking point from today. I have a Stealth 2 Plus in a lower 8-degree loft. Now the big problem I have with this is I don't have a shaft that suits me. So in it right now is a 50-gram regular flex, and I did used to have an extra stiff 75-gram shaft in it, which was absolutely ridiculous. And that's what you can see in the M2 driver that I'll show off a little bit later in the video. You'll see my M2 clubs that I used to use is no longer in this bag, simply because I'm selling them all as a set. So I've replaced it with a 6 hybrid TaylorMade burner. Next up are the irons, and I have a TaylorMade P790s, and these are the 2017 model, I believe, with mid-sized grips. As a shaft, 110 grams regular shafts. The only other iron I've got in the bag, which is completely nothing to do with anything, is this bad boy. Now, I've got a video coming out very shortly that you'll see, but this is the Jeff Sluman clubs. No idea anything about him. If you know anything about them, let me know, please. This is phenomenal. I absolutely love this thing, and we actually do some testing with the numbers on this a little bit later against some of the newer driving irons, and you'll be really surprised on how this actually performs. And then for wedges, we just have some Wilson harmonized wedges that I got off Amazon. There's a little bit more information on the clubs that I'm using, so hopefully the rest of the video makes a little bit more sense. Irons, I'm very much happy with. This, I am not. So let's go get that sorted. I will say my driver is absolutely horrendous compared to everything else. Okay. So
in terms of what, you or the club or?
Probably me.
Okay, yeah,
probably me. I bought this one because I've just swapped the shaft. So this is what I've used, is a Stealth 2.
Yep.
But I was using this shaft.
Okay.
Super stiff.
Yeah.
Horrendous.
Okay.
So I swapped the shaft from this M2 onto that, which is a regular. Connor swapped it around, see how I'd get on with it. Yeah. I went to the range, I was hitting it really well, and then it was only one and done type of deal. It was I hit it once well, and that was it.
Did you get fitted for any of it?
No. So I was going to say, you're probably going to have a heart attack when you see all my clubs, because everything's off Facebook Marketplace.
Right, okay.
Every single thing.
What's your favourite club?
I like my 9 iron or my pitching wedge.
Okay, short irons.
Yeah.
About that one?
I love that one actually, yeah. So that wasn't in the bag before a couple of weeks ago, and then I tried it out and I was hitting that really well.
Like found it in the garage or bought it?
Yeah, just found it in the garage. Yeah, found it in the garage. I was like, yeah, hit a couple of those.
And then so these are currently out?
These just came out. So these have been in the bag for probably about 4 or 5 years. The 3-wood I really liked. Yeah. Hybrid was so hit and miss. This was kind of like so this hybrid I couldn't hit. That one I absolutely love. It's
got a little bit more loft, I assume, and 6 hybrid. I would imagine
21, I think.
Yeah, that's 22, this one. I imagine that's more like 28.
That one goes further than that one.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. These bigger grips as well. So you got bigger grips on these and the irons?
Yeah,
That's what they came with, or intentional?
That's what they came with, but I like the feel of the bigger grips, to be fair. Okay.
So what, I guess what's the plan? What do you want to have a look at today? Driver?
I'd love to have a little look at the driver. All the other clubs, I'm like, okay, I can hit those, and I'm quite happy with my swing with them and everything like that. Yeah. Driver, I can't wrap my head around it.
Okay.
It's.
What do you kind of struggle with? Is it direction or strike or?
Yeah, it's so inconsistent. Like one time I'll power pull it and it'll go 240 carry, and then the next one will slice 150 yards.
Right. Okay. That's quite different.
It's definitely me, and I don't know how much you're going to be able to help, but
it's always both, because until you swing it, it does nothing. So it's always you.
Yeah.
But without that, you also can't hit it either. So it's involved every time, same as you. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see what's causing what. What head is that on it?
That's an M2.
Yeah. It's quite a different head then. 10.5 M2, and then you got that Stealth Plus 8 degree.
Yeah, I've been tweaking.
Was it like that was just what was available when you were kind of looking to buy something, or is it like a genuine intent of buying a lower spin, lower lofted?
I just saw it and I was like, that's quite a good bargain. So
that's fair. Yeah.
I did. So the settings I had on that before I swapped the shaft was as high as it went.
Yeah.
With a draw bias.
Okay.
And that's when eventually I started pulling everything.
Right, okay.
Swapped to the shaft, and I was starting to slice everything, so...
Feel quite different, I would assume.
Very, very different, yeah.
It's not the most mishmash set I've seen.
No?
No.
I'll take that.
I mean, if we take that one out, maybe, then it's pretty not mishmash.
Yeah.
Throw that one in there and it gets a little bit more interesting.
A little bit messy, yeah.
We'll get you warmed up, we'll get some numbers with it. I'll measure all of these up, see what we got.
After learning all about your clubs, it's time to move on and warm up. So you grab your favourite club out of the bag and start swinging nice and smooth. I've seen a couple of comments before around nerves, and they do play a part, but just know that the fitters have seen everything. Like, they've seen the worst shots in the world. You can only go and match those bad shots, and it really doesn't matter. As long as you just, focus on regaining and not take it too hard, you'll be absolutely fine. See if I'm striking it well today.
How'd you get on yesterday, playing yesterday?
I shot pretty well, to be fair.
Do you have days where you go out more to film and then days more to actually play, or do you kind of just always film?
Do you
find if your days where you're filming, you're not really playing golf very?
Yeah, when we're out filming, it's very much like you're locked in there, not really worrying about anything else.
Yeah.
So we try and have days, yesterday that was that day, you try and have a day where you don't worry about filming at all.
Yeah. Have you ever been fit before?
Never. No, never. I haven't actually been playing golf that long.
No?
I've only really got into golf the past couple of years. So.
Okay. Would you say you played a bit beforehand, but like non-seriously, and then the last 2 years has been properly playing?
It was very much in my garden, boot sale clubs type of deal, and then eventually kind of found people who also played golf.
No, I get a lot of people like that sort of play a bit, but wouldn't call themselves golfers, and then they kind of start doing it a bit more. Yeah. Particularly after COVID, we had a lot of people come out and sort of start playing a little bit more properly then. Measure this Jeff Sluman one because I'm curious. What glove size do you wear? Any?
I think this is a small, but
okay, small or medium, that sort of.
Small or medium, yeah.
Interesting that you sort of feel like you prefer the
bigger grip,
bigger size on grip as well. Yeah. Do you feel like it fits your hand better, or do you feel like it changes the shot shape a little bit? Or?
I feel like I can feel the club more. Like I can feel what the club's doing a little bit more when it's bigger grip.
What handicap are you off at the moment?
13.6.
How do you feel that is? Pretty accurate, or a bit high, or a bit low?
Yeah, I think that's about right at the moment. Okay. I think irons game is all right. Yeah. Short game is horrendous, and then my driver's just all over the place at the moment.
So if you can get off the tee and then on the green, you're doing all right.
I'm usually all right. Yeah. If I have a good hole, it's probably because I've actually managed to hit one in the fairway, and then my second shot has got me on the green.
I remember talking to someone about it, and he said that you can always tell what the worst part of your game is because the day that you do it well, you score way better. All of a sudden. Whereas like if it's a good part of your game and you do it really well, like your score doesn't change too much. So for you, like if you have a day where you drive it really well, lose no balls, no real recovery shots, you're probably going to shoot
pretty well.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah. How come you took the 3 without the bag?
So I just bought every club M2.
Yeah.
Those irons have been sat in the garage for a little bit.
Well, the M2 irons?
Yeah. Still worth a little bit of money, so I was like, I'll just sell it all as a set.
Oh, okay.
Which is why they've been taken out. So that's why it's a mismatch, and it's kind of just like learning work out what I want to build next, because I'd love maybe like a 7 wood in the bag.
Okay, yeah. Goes with that 6 hybrid well.
Seen that happen much?
A lot, yeah. You can see, in fact, you can see those little white dots on the.
Oh, okay.
That's all the previous ones, yeah.
Was it Theo when he hit the mirror?
Yeah, he had a couple of them, yeah. Shot shape with everything, not talking to drivers specifically, is normally a fade, would you say?
Usually a little bit of a fade like that.
Yeah.
Or it's a little bit of a draw the other way.
Okay, well, like starts slightly left and draws, or starts right target and draws?
Starts, yeah, I'd probably say start. It's probably more of a pull. It's probably a start straight and then
it's the same path, just left. Different face, okay.
Yeah.
And have you had any lessons since you started playing, or are you having lessons at the moment?
I've had one lesson.
Okay.
One lesson from Charlie at Lee, and that was about a month and a half ago. I think.
It's fairly recent then.
Yeah, so that was the first lesson I had.
How did it go?
It was good. It was good. I've gained distance because I'm actually hinging more, which is nice. I'm happy. I'm a lot happier now in my swing, but I am due more lessons, I think. I was just getting used to this.
Do you feel like when you hit that one, it goes a lot further than the fade one? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, what did that carry?
Carried 171.
That's further than
previous one. Pitched 161, the fade. Which shape do you prefer to see? Yeah,
I think for me, because it's such a fine margin of whether it's going to be a pull or a. You
can't play for either.
I play in the middle.
Yeah, well,
and then it's like
and just hope. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like take your irons for example, you're just looking for an iron that when you hit both, there isn't as much of a discrepancy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like in the sense that we can't change, if we don't or can't change how you swing it, which sometimes we can, but let's just say we can't, and you have the same both misses. You just want to look at it. We go, okay, well you've pull hooked that, and it's only gone 5 yards further and a little bit left. That is then no longer as bad a shot as 10 yards of differential.
Of course, yeah.
So that's the thing with like dispersion. Most people think dispersion left to right, which it is, but front to back is the better you get, like the more important that becomes. Warm, loose?
Yeah, I'm feeling okay.
Feeling good.
So now you're pretty much warmed up, it's time to start hitting your driver. Hitting your own driver to start with helps you understand how you're going to be hitting it on the day. For me, sometimes I feel my swing can be very temperamental. On one day I'm pulling everything, the next day I'm slicing everything. But as it turns out, your tendencies will almost always stay the same, regardless if you're playing really, really well or really, really poor on the day. Your habits and your bad misses will tend to be quite similar. During this time, your club fitter will be looking at where the ball comes off the face, looking at the stats, distances, club head speeds, etc., to learn your tendencies.
There's that. What tee height should we use? High, low, pink castle? It's a common answer.
I think pink castle, yeah. That I'm happy with.
Mm-hmm. Would you say your shape, like say talk about exaggerate, the shape becomes more exaggerated with driver? Like so I see 6-iron there, the start line was like a little left and it shaped to like a little right of target line.
Yeah.
And then the pull started a little left and pulled a little bit, but that started much further left on start line, aside from like shape.
Yeah.
So that's kind of pretty common.
Yeah, that's pretty common. Okay. And it can sometimes start on that left side like that.
Yeah.
And not turn.
Yeah, okay.
And it will just go dead straight just because I've closed the club face or whatnot.
Yeah, which feels better in a way.
Yeah.
In the sense that you've squared it, but you're squared for,
Yeah.
What would you say is the typical like big miss strike wise? Heel or toe, or like high or low, or
heel?
Heel, okay.
Heel. The amount of times I hit it off here.
Okay.
And nearly missed the club face.
Right in the heel.
Like that.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
That happens probably more than it probably should.
Okay.
Yeah. On the screen, the ball is there.
Yeah. 39 mil low, 15 mil hill. Frame of reference.
Not ideal.
And height-wise, we say you hit it pretty high or pretty low?
High. High.
When you hit the kind of pull turnover one, does it drop in flight? Like a bit lower or still pretty high?
I feel like that one just flies like a missile, just like a dead straight line.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go, yeah. It's good seeing all the shots. It's always good to see the misses that people say they have.
And that's the one that it's not too bad, but it's
Drop
still
back
enough.
a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's still enough to turn over and.
Would you say on a decent one you're looking at about 250, 260 total?
That would be a very good,
Very good one, yeah. Yeah, at the moment, I guess, obviously.
At the moment, 100%, yeah.
If you go back, because you're probably changing quite regularly at this stage of your golf. Go back to like last summer, because obviously this is set for like summer conditions. Go back to last summer, you're probably different enough that it's not a relevant number.
If it carries 220, that's probably about all right. So I've avoided touching this driver probably for the past 3 rounds, and I've just been taking out a 3-iron or the hybrid off the tee and just hitting a longer iron into the green, and I've found more consistency.
So. It's a frustrating way to play, but score-wise, it
helps score-wise, but nice and straight. That was massively off the bottom of the face.
Okay. Is that quite common as well, even if it's not heeled, but bottom?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, it seems like, didn't see too many of the super heely ones, but I can kind of see where they come from a little bit, but it was more that kind of just bottomy one.
Yeah.
If it doesn't read it, didn't read that last one strike-wise, it'll read it flush in the middle.
Wow.
But just because it missed the strike. But yeah, there's like those last few there.
Yeah, I'm almost missing the whole club, aren't I?
The thing with drivers is kind of, particularly this quadrant, if you're talking quadrants, like this section here, is obviously that's much higher in spin. And in theory, lower in launch. And then that's higher in launch, lower in spin.
Yeah.
So obviously if you're someone that curbs it in like this quadrant, plus is a little left on path, little open on face, it's a recipe for really inefficient distances.
Yeah.
As you can imagine. Like pretty decent efficiency of ball speed because it's lower lofted, it comes out hotter off that bottom part of the face. But pretty spinny.
Yeah.
So to see it, pitch at 230 off 100 miles an hour is lower than it could be.
Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah, I mean, you've got decent speed, to be fair. Yeah, 100. There's one at 103. For optimal total off 100, you got 270.
Oh, wow.
Just 2.7 times the number for robot optimal. Basically, what you want to see is like if I put a good swing on it and it's a middle strike, it should roll out to like 2.7 times my club speed or close to.
Okay.
If you're someone whose mechanics are a little bit away from neutral, for example, like you talked about earlier, if you were down with driver, obviously it becomes always harder to get that number, which you're not. You are up, which is good. A couple of degrees, which is not too bad. Path's a little left, like that one at 4.4 and a couple up. Like that's a recipe for a pretty good delivery. Like you could, if that was centered and the face was square, that could quite easily go like 260, 265 probably.
Now, as much as I love golf, I don't actually know that much when it comes to golf data. Like, I've only just recently learned that temperature actually quite drastically affects how much distance your ball goes. That seems obvious now that I think of it, but at the time I'd never factored it into my play that if it's cold, I need to club up. So I must admit, at this point, I was slightly overwhelmed with just how much information and data there was on the screen available. So you'll see I'm just like hardly communicating at this point because I'm just trying to learn on the screen and ask, when I do talk, it tends to be silly questions that's already been said, but that's just because I'm trying to focus on little things at a time. But it is so informative, and I actually came out with so much information and I've learned so much since. I think one big takeaway from this, which I was quite happy with, was how many questions I did ask. Learning about what the optimal spin you want on your driver is and where on the face you want to hit it. It was a big eye-opener for me. So when I go forward and I'm at the driving range or I'm at a golf sim and I want to learn and practice, I know what I'm aiming for.
That shaft is probably a little light. Yeah. That's probably too far the other way.
Yes.
But that shaft's probably not helping. Particularly, like I say, if you're prone to being over the top. Yeah. Typically, you see when something's a bit too light, it's very easy to kind of get out. Yeah. But what I always say is if most clubs are or most of the other clubs in the bag work pretty well and driver's an outlier, there is an element of saying driver's a very different club to everything else anyway.
Yes, yeah.
But if it is the one outlier, typically, as a fitter, I would always say anyway, but typically that's probably a club thing. Yep. Like, for example, if you're like, I hit my irons pretty well and I've got a hybrid and I just can't hit it. Yeah. Like, okay, I know a hybrid's a different type of club to an iron, but there's probably something in that. Yeah, because it's only 307 total, which I would say is pretty light considering it's 45 and a half. But then D3 on swing weight's kind of head heavy.
And what would you typically look at for?
I would say I would be more expecting that to be like 315, 320 total, and then probably more like C9D0 in swing weight or something like that. Like that would be like my first choice of those two numbers for the first combo.
Yeah.
Because for example, your like 6 hybrid, that's heavier in comparison to that.
Oh, yeah.
But it's a little bit lighter in balance. And obviously because these have got bigger grips, these are sort of the same. So these are quite light in balance. Because obviously if you have a big heavy grip, it'll change the balance quite that way anyway. But I mean, that's 65 stiff, that's 75 stiff. In theory, like a 55 stiff to match in with those two. Because that freewood is total weight of like 350. And it's about 2 inches. So that should, about 30 grams lighter if it's 15 grams an inch, which it should be roughly. Okay. So you'd be looking at about 320. Let's try some stuff.
Yeah. You can see that the main issue for me was where on the face the ball was striking. Almost always it was coming off the low heel. So now it's time to have some fun. Experiment with different shafts and different club heads to see what works best for me.
So typically when I get someone in that is struggling with strike, which like I say, could be just you anyway, but if we're saying it's a mainly shaft issue, or we're going to say it's mainly a shaft issue for the sake of this at the moment, I tend not to worry too much about what the head does or is doing, because until we can get you more central, it's hard to really know what head's going to work. Like, 'cause I could look at that and go, oh, it's too spinny. So the head's too spinny, but obviously it's a low spin head, so it's probably not too spinny, it's just where you're striking it creates spin. So until that fixes, it's hard to really know.
In my brand colours as well. It's so interesting.
This is the Cobra Dark Speed Adapt Max K, and the shaft is now Dealer Ascent. Bit of a mouthful. Shot.
Yeah, you can feel the weight on the, I feel the weight on the head a bit more.
Like in the
but
head,
it feels like I've got a little bit more control to it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I can feel where the club head is on my backswing.
Okay. Shot. Just missed those strikes. That sounded maybe a little bit low again, but just missed the strike on that one.
That was low heely, yeah.
Shot. Okay. Feel better?
Yeah, it feels nice.
So kind of getting a cup a little bit higher.
And
so then it's interesting then getting one that's a little bit close to the middle. Then seeing the spin at like 3-2 with that head. So I'm like, okay, so once you get like a more central one, it gives you an idea of where spin rate's going to be cross head. So that's not a particularly low spinning head or anything.
So is that a little bit too spinny though?
That's a little bit too spinny, yeah. Like,
what number are you looking at roughly?
Depends. I'd like to get it down to like 2-3 maybe.
Okay.
But everyone's a little different in how they create spin. Like in theory, if you got down to like 1900 2K, you'd get more distance out of it. But in terms of like a stable spin that gets the most out of it distance-wise while also not being easy to spray, 2-3, 2-4 is quite a good number.
Okay.
You'll see some of the tour players that have like a load of speed play at like 2.9, 3K. Like they won't be that far under that. Because they've got about 125 miles of clubhouse speed. They can get far enough at that spin, and it just straightens them up a little bit. So this one is the Callaway Elyte, or Elyte, if you want to say it how it's written. Triple diamond in a 9 degree, this one. I'm going to build it a little bit more loft. So like 9.75 plan with a C6 blue 6X shaft. Last one was 6S. But C6 is a pretty soft profile, so their 6X is probably slightly softer than that different 6X.
Okay.
Yeah, not all flexes are the same.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so there's a more exact way of measuring it, which is called CPM. Like, clamp it there and do that. The amount it does that, like cycles per minute, is how stiff it is.
Okay.
So if it's really soft, it'll like cycle not very often, whereas if it's really stiff, it'll like do that. So that's like a more exact way of measuring it, but obviously it'd be kind of too confusing for general consumption if you put that on every shaft. So I don't like know the CPMs of all of them, but for example, the CPM of that is going to be closer to a 6S in a stiffer profile shaft, for example.
Is there like a big difference between the low end of a stiff shaft and a high end of a stiff shaft? Is there like a... would you be able to feel the difference?
Yeah, it depends how, to be honest, it depends how feel orientated you are. Some people, yeah, and other people not so much.
Okay.
It's one of those like little microcosmic changes you can make just to fine tune it more than like wholesale difference.
Got ya.
Sometimes those little tiny bits are the difference. Okay, interesting.
I did a Connor. Snap hook.
Yeah,
off the toe.
Do you see that shape that much, or is it more like just the pull that you see? Yeah. Yeah,
it's maybe slightly subconsciously I'm thinking about trying to hit it more centre face, and then it's I've gone over exaggerated and hit the toe.
Yeah, that was a little toe shot, that one. Yeah. Or the better way for me to look at it is the shaft moved you out of the heel.
Okay. Okay.
But that's just the difference between a fitter and a man. Okay. How would you say this one feels weight-wise?
It doesn't feel massively different to the last one.
Yeah. Okay.
It feels a little lighter. Mm-hmm. I can't feel the head on the way back type thing, but.
Would you say that you prefer feeling the head on the way back, or prefer not feeling?
I'm not sure.
No, that's fine.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. Most people say that. I always ask just on the off chance.
That was a little closer to the middle.
Okay, maybe we'll do one more and finish on that one. Okay.
Yeah, these are coming out the toe a lot more than the previous ones.
Yeah, I don't mind that. For someone that is a perpetual bottom heel striker, like you were saying, having a high toe average is not bad. I mean, if you have a look at that, so yeah, that last one, or the last few, you had one that you kind of took the last one out, but one in there that was like a little bottom cutty. That's that one that was like low and left.
Yeah, that's a massive difference.
But it's a massive difference in terms of where it is. So, for example, that last one at 2.5.
Okay.
Other than that one, all the spin rates are down in the, and if you ignore that, you're averaging now 2.5. So that's more where we want to see it.
Okay.
Which is why you start seeing some that creep out to like the 260, 258, 262, 251 type yardage. Okay, let's make a little tweak to that then. There you go.
Thank you.
The silver tape.
It's just lead tape, so it just adds a bit of weight. So I've added a little bit into the front. There are adjustable front and back weights, but during fitting it's much easier just to put lead tape where I want, and then in the build we can obviously change it to where we want. So I've put it right over the weight, so it's basically just, if we were going to do that in build, I'd just put a heavier weight in the front, but rather than keep a whole bunch of random weights down there, just keep a roll of lead tape. It's a bit easier.
Yeah, it saves time as well.
Exactly, yeah. So like I was saying at the start, if we can't change your path too much, which is fine, like if it's 4 or 5 left, to hit a more neutral shape, you've got to be starting it a few degrees left. That's where the path's going.
Yeah, just
very different, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, one more. That's flushed.
It's just dead straight.
Yeah. So if you're playing for, a 40, 50 feet of draw, and you hit one straight that finishes 10 feet left, then you've just you haven't missed it.
Yeah.
That was a pretty central strike. Slightly low, so it spins a little bit, 'cause it's 7 mil low.
Yeah.
But just under the 260, because that's what I mean, that's that difference. And if you've got that mil shut and it turns a little bit more, then it'll drop the spin down even on the same strike. Which is why having a slightly shut to path face is quite nice for you. Because that face was like fractionally open to path.
Okay.
And fractionally low, so you see it just spike on spin a fraction. But It's not a bad strike.
I mean,
obviously.
it's
you'd take it.
Best one for today, isn't it?
Yeah, if you're talking distance from the centre, I would personally say like that one is better than that.
Okay.
Just in terms of what ball flight you're going to see and stuff.
Got ya.
But if you're talking how far away from the centre, sometimes the centre is not necessarily always the best place to hit it.
Well, you know.
Yeah. Depends on like your ball flight. Like if you're someone that's really low spin, you're probably better if you're curbing like that sort of shot. Because it'll help your spin come up. And vice versa, if someone that's naturally a bit high spin, curbing like a strike up here.
Yeah.
Someone that hits a big fade up here is pretty good because it'll gear effect it back to straight. Vice versa, if you're someone that really struggles with the left, gearing it into the, or you know, having it in the heel a little bit, just helps it not hook as much. If you take like dead center, 0-0 path, 0-0 face, and you put like 20 mil toe, 20 mil heel, you'll see two very different ball flights.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which I'd love to show you, but I don't think I could stand there all day. I wouldn't get 2 0-0 faced paths and different heel strikes. I'm not that good.
I've seen your swing. You're a bit of a player.
Yeah, I'm not that good. To be honest, you don't actually want to be 0-0.
No?
No, not path. If you're 0 path, like I said, for example, if you're 0 path, 0 face, and you strike it a couple mil either side, you'll shape it both ways.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah.
You really want to be curbing maybe 2 or 3 either way. So like your I don't know, that last one was 2.5 left.
Yep.
Out to him, whatever you want to call it, path. That's really good if you were always there, because it's always gonna either, well, you could either curb a little fade like that one back to straight, or you could curb like a little pull draw, both are fine. Whereas if you were like neutral and you maybe were a little bit inside, a little bit across based on variation, and then again combine that with an open shut face and a slightly different strike, you've got like 4 different flights.
Yeah, got you. Okay.
And that's hard work.
I'm learning so much. Some of the stuff that are being said I hadn't even thought about before. So
this is same shaft, and this is back to a Cobra, but this is the Adapt LS. It's a Cobra Adapt LS model, so low spin version. So I was interested in when I started putting you in that max cage to kind of, again, like more of a baseline, and then seeing that spin a bit much, like, okay, we do need something that's lower spin.
Okay. This feels way heavier.
So we added a bit of weight to the Elyte.
Yeah.
The tape. It's coming out at 192, including screw. I always include screw and head weights because otherwise that's same. It's 193 to gram. It's a gram. It's different, slightly different, like head shape, and that'll obviously influence it. But
I shouldn't be feeling 1 gram that different.
Well, there you go. Maybe you do. So would you say that feels worse, that more weight now, or just
not necessarily?
Just like a strike, those two, just 4 strikes.
Yeah, not necessarily worse. It's just trying to get used to the tempo with it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Nearly missed the club head.
I'll take that one back. That's the point of why we want to control everything ourselves.
Of course, yeah.
Like why we want to build it here, why we want to measure every component after the fit. So I'll take apart and measure the head weight, goes upstairs to the builder, because if it comes out a gram different, it's different clubs to what you tested.
Big difference,
essentially, yeah.
Obviously,
gram different in the same head will be a much similar feel to like gram different head, because like I say, it's different shape, look, aerodynamics. So that will make it play a lot different that way.
Okay.
But yeah, go a couple grams either side of like the fitted club from a head weight wise, and it'll change. So this is back to the previous one. I've just got it in a slightly different loft setting on the hosel. So same head shaft as the Callaway Elyte Triple Diamond. Quite often if you're in something that looks like really close, it's good to kind of go a little away from it, see if it makes it really better or if it puts in the wrong direction, which it did, and then like, you can go back to kind of zeroing in on this one. There you go. And that's again is why we, like we're saying with Connor about building your whole bag so that it's consistent through. Because if you've got 2 clubs that are not even vastly different, but just different in their balance and their feel, and you're switching from 7-iron to driver and they're really different, like that happens because you've only got 1 chance at it, you know.
Yeah, I'm liking the feel of it. I like the weight on this one compared to the last one, even if it isn't necessarily different, it feels
very different.
Yeah. That was right off the bottom.
So ideally, I'd love to get you a little bit more central than like the slight toe.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like the toe saves a lot of your miss. So I don't mind it. Just out of curiosity, I'm just gonna give you a slightly bigger tee for it. You experimented much with tee height before, or never really?
I have a little bit, yeah. It's when I've put the tee up too high, quite often I'll get really underneath it.
Yeah.
And it just goes up.
Yeah. Okay.
So I kind of have started putting it a little lower, but again, it depends on the day.
Yeah, I bet. I do find it interesting. It's sometimes good to adjust tee height because it can change what someone does with it.
Yeah.
But it's so often, like for example, if you're bottoming it, like natural answer is higher tee, but the amount of times the person just adjusts upwards, like strike just kind of follows it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I've done there. Still low.
Yeah, I'll see one more, but it just looks probably a bit high to your eye.
There you go. That's a bit more centre, wasn't it?
Yeah. Do you feel like you have to work hard to get that at it, or?
I looked and stared at the bottom of the ball rather than the middle of it.
Yeah, that's interesting, because that was more central. That's what I mean about that one not being as toey, and you see its shape fade rather than drop.
Yeah.
Shot.
See, I feel like with my old driver, that was gone.
Okay, yeah. So whereas now it feels like that's more like what you're going to be able to curb, and you're not going to see that side as much.
Yeah.
So that's almost what you're trying to hit.
Yeah.
Like we talked about with the iron earlier about seeing both, but you can't play for both.
Yeah.
Whereas now it feels like 9 times out of 10, it will be doing that direction.
Yeah. I'd rather just get one right one every 10 shots rather than.
Yeah. You can kind of stand, aim up the right hand side, and just kind of pound it, let it come back a little bit. There you go. There's one that just leaks, but.
But again, it's not miles.
No, it's not a huge amount of shape. Your bad ones are 240.
Yeah.
Your bad ones are further up, and they're probably straighter with a fairly similar sort of strike location.
Yeah.
More spin, less distance, more shape. Missed strike on that one, but that's how you can get the most out of it with your own.
Yes,
just by really shutting it down. And that's gone like 256.
That's still gone. I feel like that's gone a lot further.
Oh yeah, that's missed 170 feet left of the centre line.
Yeah.
Whereas if you take that one's missed only 100 feet, so it's like 70 feet close to the line. And that one's gone to 243, 266. So you're up 10 yards from best to best. So comparing best to best is always a good one. See like what you get out of it maximum when you put the best swing on it you can. So we're talking about that 270 optimal. That was 99, so like slightly less. So that's pretty much bang on optimal.
Okay.
So it's a 2-3 spin. Maybe that one faded a little bit, so you see the spin spike, so like up to like 2.7, but still 260 total at 98, 99. So again, it's pretty close. But if you're looking at yellow ones of your own, ironically, quite often we see it less ball speed because the strike's not low. You know, I said about low creating a lot of ball speed, so very efficient. Because in theory, we've dropped off in efficiency because we've moved it up and toe side. But that's just such a better place to be from flight perspective.
Yeah.
Path's more neutral. So rather than 6 left, it's 4 left. And it's more consistent. So it's 1-1 deviation rather than 1-6. And you hit a lot more shots in that spread. You're going to see a bigger dispersion the more you hit. But it's still tighter on path, tighter on attack angle, tighter on face. So it's more consistent face, attack, and path. So from a 3-dimensional swing, everything's kind of more consistent. More consistent club speed. More consistent and close to where you want it to be.
Okay. Because when I turned up, I was expecting...
Yeah.
And then I'm walking away with that, and I'm like, all right, so.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously that's a shift because I was saying we've not really talked anything about technique. I've not talked to you about changing your path in any way, which we could have done. Like for example, if we got fewer combos in and I couldn't shift this strike, I couldn't get it toe side, and this path wasn't neutralizing. But okay, well maybe we have a conversation about now we got something heavier. Let's like use it and work it underneath and stuff. Didn't even need to do that.
Yeah.
Less spin, more launch, which is always in driver a good combination. Little gains on distance, but that's more like you've got more potential when you hit it well because it's better suited in terms of its launch and spin. But it's more so that it's just going to hit shape so much more often, which is kind of the more important thing, really.
I feel like when I look back at all the shots I did, there was maybe like 1 or 2 like ones that are like, I struck that really well.
What, with your own or with this one?
With this one.
Yeah.
And even, as you said, even the bad shots are better than most of my other ones with.
Yeah, you got 3 that finished over 260, and then a couple at 257. When the longest one with your own was 256.
Yeah.
So 4 out of the.
It's so
4 out of the 12 were longer than the best one with your own.
Yeah. Now on paper, the stats actually don't look that different. I've gained 5 yards on carry, I've gained 7 yards total with even less ball speed. But in terms of the consistency of the strikes are so much better, and the flight of the ball is just so much more consistent. So you'll see at the start, I was fading everything, losing distance, it was very spinny. But it was also, I'd have the occasional pull that went 100 yards left. And then the next time I would slice it and it would go massively right. And you would have seen in some of my break 85s and whatnot, I do have that in me. It's the reason why I didn't break 85 at Bramshaw Manor is because on the 17th hole, I pulled it after a little fade all day, I've pulled it straight into the trees. That's just what happened. So now knowing I could hit a golf club with a little draw and it would pretty much go within, 30, 40, 50 feet left of kind of my center line almost every single time was so much more reassuring. And that's kind of what was fixed from today. The extra distance and the less spin was really like a nice added bonus, but that wasn't like the takeaway from it all, if that makes sense.
I think it's probably the best head, I would say. The thing is, you can always try every head, because there's loads of stuff that you don't try every time you come for a fit, but don't keep searching for things that aren't there. Like,
if it works, it works.
Yeah, if it's doing what we need it to do, considering where you started, like, is there that much more we can get out of that spread?
Yeah, of course.
So if we had all day and you were fit enough to hit 500 drivers, we could keep going. But there's a peak of a bell curve at about 50, 60 shots.
Yeah.
So and we had some warm-ups before I put some drivers. So we're at the point where you hit 20, 30 more, you're just going to start. And then it gets really hard to be like, is that a bad spread because you're tired?
Yeah, it's not the best looking driver they've made, is it? But
if it
works, it works.
I quite like the look from the top. The bottom.
I like the top of it.
What's interesting is they've done the triple diamond, which is the low spin head that more of the tour players are using, in like a gloss finish.
Okay.
And the standard model is in a matte finish, because apparently amateurs prefer matte and pros prefer gloss, which I don't really understand, but quite different.
That is different.
Yeah.
I prefer the gloss.
There you go. You're obviously a pro, not an amateur.
You heard it first.
Yeah.
You heard it first.
And then we'll do grip actually, but I'm curious. I want to see this Sluman numbers.
If I hit a driver yesterday and it went 210, that would have been a good drive, but this was going through 200. Come on, Jeff.
That's not bad. Rolled up to 209 on. It's pretty good.
Do you want to hit it?
I'll give it a go. That grip looks like it's not bad actually, to be fair. It's better than I was expecting it to be.
I think that one's had a new shaft in it compared to the rest one.
Is it?
Yeah, because all the other ones are graphite, but they're like, that one's a new grip and shaft.
Is it?
Yeah.
Define new.
It's a fight, yeah. It's new compared to the other 40-year-old clubs.
Can't feel that head at all. It feels so light.
I love it. What a player.
That's my standard miss, right in the heel.
Again, it's still good.
Didn't feel that bad, to be fair.
Yeah.
I was genuinely expecting that to be really bad.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I was so surprised when I was hitting it. I hit it once, I was like, that's actually quite nice. I hit the next one, I was like, yeah.
This is the TaylorMade DHY driving hybrid, essentially. So it's like a driving iron, but it's a bit bigger.
It looks like a beast.
I'm just curious to see the difference between the two, to be honest. Might be Jeff outperforms it. We'll see.
Come on, Jeff, don't let me down.
Poor TaylorMade being tattered. The old Jeff Sluman does better then.
It's high.
Let's try it.
Off the bottom.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's very high, isn't it?
It does go high. 204.
204 and a little fade's pretty good.
Don't say it. It's nice. It feels nice.
I was going to say, does it feel much different?
Not massively. It feels heavier. It feels like I know that face is going to be square.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Compared to...
That'd be interesting. Let me just...
It's quite similar.
202 with a 3 iron.
This is the Srixon ZXi utility 2 iron.
I've heard really good things about the Srixon irons.
Srixon irons and driving irons, have look very good this year. That sounded good. If anything, it's a bit spinny.
Yeah?
Yeah. Not a bad thing, but off a tee, you almost want it to be a bit flatter than that.
Yeah.
A bit more roll. Sometimes when you make that jump from like 3 to 2 iron, a little bit less loft makes it harder to hit and therefore not actually go further. More of the time. Sometimes having a 3 iron that's just a little bit friendlier.
Maybe 3 irons my number.
Could be. Normal grip pressure, which would be out of 10, what would you say if 10's white knuckle and 0's loose?
Maybe like probably 5. I don't hold it 2.
No, good. So if you hold it like that, so if you're going to hit a shot with it, and I do that, do you feel like the club spins in your hands at all? Or
no.
Yeah, it looks like that bottom hand just goes with it straight away. Okay, turn it on a bit.
Oh, somebody's changed my grip.
I was going to say double overlapping all of a sudden. How does that feel? Like they don't quite touch as much, those fingers in the top hand?
No, don't. I can still feel it touching my hand, but it's not.
Just touching, yeah.
Yeah.
How does that feel? Better or worse?
It feels like it wants to turn, but it's not.
Okay, so maybe worse.
Yeah, that one doesn't want to turn.
How's that feel?
Yeah, solid.
Give it the old twist.
Grippy.
Grippy, yeah. Okay. Because that's standard size, purely standard.
Yeah.
But in the sort of material that your bigger grips are made from.
Okay.
As soon as I give you that one, like say you twist it and your hand's just going straight with it.
Yeah.
It's normally looking for if there's a little bit of like spin. Like for me, so I play bigger on the bottom hand. Like that's fine. And if I have my bottom hand, it's just quite like big.
Yeah.
So if you twisted that when I was holding that, see the bottom hand, it just
I can
slips.
see it
the whole top
the
hand is
bottom
holding, but
there.
this hand wants to. So I have extra layers on the bottom hand to pad that out.
Okay.
Whereas I say when I give you standard size, it just fits both hands tight with it. It's probably just that material when you're out playing.
Just
something with a bit of cord, it's a bit firmer, a bit harsher. I mean, you've also got something like a fully corded version. That's harder, again, firmer.
I think this is what's on your Tacomas, yeah.
Is it? There you go.
Yeah, very similar lambkin grips.
Oh, okay, yeah, like a full quad lambkin or something.
Yeah. Okay, that's good to know.
But I would say standard size is fine. It's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, just getting one that's a bit firmer of a material, like a multi-compound.
A little bit. Okay.
Like that. Yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you very, very much.
No worries.
I knew I was going to learn stuff from it, but I learned a lot more than I expected.
Okay, good. Yeah. Wish you were coming in with high expectations after seeing Connor's. So.
Yeah, but one of Alia's questions has always been, why have you never got fitted?
Yes.
Yeah. And I always said, well, I'm not happy with my swing, so once I get to a point where I'm happy with my swing, I'll go get custom fit.
Yeah.
But now I've been custom fit, it's like 100% worth it. I've heard so much.
There's lots of people that use, it's not really an excuse, but maybe have an understanding of it in a sense that I don't swing it consistent, so I don't need to get custom fit, or it depends what day I turn up on and I'm hitting it good or not. What happens if I turn up not hitting it well, or like you say, like I feel like my swing's not at a point where I can get the most out of a club anyway. I said all 3 of those things that, like what we're trying to do here, like we're trying to do with shaft or whatever, we're just trying to find something that matches how you move it. We're trying to find something that helps curb your bad shot. And typically, however good or bad you get, your bad shot and your tendencies are always the same.
Yeah, okay.
So I heel it as a bad shot all the time. Used to do it more than I do now, but like that first one hit there, straight in the heel. That'll always be like where I'm going to miss it, so I'm always going to need something to help me out with that.
Okay.
And if you turn up and you're having a bad day, you can still see what your tendencies are and how you move it. Because day to day, your swing doesn't change much. But like we talked about with the microscopic differences of strike and face, you can see massively different shapes.
Yeah, and I suppose if you can control all of the elements that you need to control to reduce.
Yeah, like some people will come in hitting it awful with driver, just having a really bad day. And you go through the process and they're better and they're straighter and longer and you can see how it's an improvement. But they're probably not hitting the fitted driver as well as they want to hit a driver.
Yeah.
But the improvement's still there.
Yeah.
You're still, because that's why you always hit yours first. You get an idea of where you're at today. So there is, in my opinion, and again, I am probably very biased, there's never really a bad time to come get fit, really.
All right. Amazing.
And particularly if you come in and you feel like that just wasn't an accurate representation of how I normally hit driver.
Yeah.
Fine, go through the process, we find something that's right for you, and if you want to come back another day when you feel like you're going to be hitting it differently, you can always just do that. There's no reason not to.
Amazing. Thank you very, very much.
No worries. Good to see you again.
Good to see you. So, the conclusion, what I got fitted into was a Callaway Elyte triple diamond driver. By far my favourite driver on the day, and I have actually since gone and hit other drivers at golf events as well, and I stick to it. The Elyte was the best off the face. It felt the best. It had the best consistency that I found for my swing. A big part of that as well is, of course, the shaft. That's the main issue that I have with my current driver, is just I don't have a shaft that suits it at all. And I got fitted into a Mitsubishi C6 Blue 60X. So this one is more in the middle, especially when it comes to weight, which feels great. But stiffness, it actually stuck to that extra stiff side, which I was quite surprised about. I thought I was going to be fitted into maybe like a stiff shaft, but this one is a little bit in between stiff and extra stiff by the sound of things. I might be wrong on that. Quote me if I am, okay? Gimbal, stop. Another thing I was actually quite surprised about was the fact that, you know, I have mid grips on pretty much all of my clubs. Even though I know I have small hands, I don't need mid-sized grips. I feel that, you know, they feel nice, but it actually turned out that the reason why I liked them was the style of grip that I have. So I've been recommended to go into a multi-compound grip in standard, as that fits my hands the best and doesn't slip out of my hands as much either, which is actually what my M2 3-wood and hybrid were in before, and makes sense as to why I like them. And I've actually since used Alia's Tacoma irons as well, which have the multi-compound grips, and they feel phenomenal. So that's something that I'll be looking to change the next set of clubs that I get throughout the bag. There's a couple of other statistics that you'll see on the screen as well, as with what I got fitted into, including kind of the club length and where the weight should be in the club, which are really useful if I want to get to that exact setup. Now, to answer the question if it's worth getting a club fitting or not, is completely dependent on your situation. Now, for me, personally, going forward, I will be looking to get custom fit for my clubs in the future. Now, that session would typically cost £75 for an hour and a half driver fitting. A golf lesson, you're looking at about £50 an hour typically, and to have access to a golf sim, you're looking at, what, £30, £40 an hour as well. So £75 for a driver fitting where I can come away with the specs and everything that I need to be able to go away and get a brand new driver later on down the line when I'm ready is huge for me, and I learned so much from that session. Now, am I in the position to be able to go and buy that new driver right now? Absolutely not. I'm moving house and I'm not quite in that position, but I've got everything there ready for when I do want to buy that club. I feel like it would be the same for me with irons. Again, I'm happy with my irons at the moment, but later on down the line, I'd love to find out where I can improve and what type of clubs would suit my swing. Since I got these a few years ago and my swing has changed quite a lot, they're great and they do me fine, but later on down the line, I'd love to find out what's next. So if you're an average golfer, you want to improve, you want to try different clubs, if you want to learn more about your swing and whatnot, then I would say a club fitting is worth it.